The 2020 NBA Draft was held on November 18, 2020. That's a wrap on the 2020 Draft, which unfolded mostly according to plan for 4 picks, and then spiraled into a somewhat chaotic blur. In a draft where teams were all across the board in their views on a wide range of players, surprises were certainly to be expected. Let's move forward with our video and have a look at the top 10 picks and their specialties of the NBA Draft 2020. So, let's begin. But before we proceed further, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do hit the subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any future NBA content. Tenth pick. Phoenix Suns draft Jalen Smith. The Suns deliver the first massive surprise of the draft for the second year in a row, grabbing Smith, a player who many felt was ticketed for the teens or early 20s. There were certain teams who were optimistic about his long-term future. Smith is a talented shooter for his size and also a capable shot blocker, a combination of traits that are always in demand. But his physical stiffness and limited mobility was a concern for a number of scouts, and he rated as a late first-rounder on my personal board. The Suns already have a long-term center in DeAndre Ayton, which suggests they view Smith as someone who can play power forward, which is a disputable presumption in a league where teams are playing smaller and faster. Phoenix could well be vindicated here, but this fit is questionable based on what we know right now. Ninth pick. The Washington Wizards draft Deni Avdija. We knew someone was going to fall in the lottery, and with Okoro rising to number 5 as Cleveland's choice, Avdija ended up being the player that fell. Wizards boss Tommy Shepard has long operated with an open mind towards international talent, and unexpectedly lands a player who fits quite well with Washington's current pieces. Avdija has great size and passing vision for a forward, and the hope is that he'll develop into a player capable of bringing the ball up the floor and running secondary offense once his ball handling gets up to speed. Avdija comes with some defensive concerns, but he's a strong value for Washington at number 9, and a player they likely weren't expecting to be on the board. The Wizards are hoping to push for the playoffs this season, and they'll hope Avdija's professional experience helps him acclimate quickly. 8th pick. New York Knicks draft Toppin. It's not an understatement to call the Knicks' love of Toppin one of the worst-kept secrets in the NBA. New York was attempting to move up in the draft, and rival teams were widely speculating that Toppin was their target. As it turns out, he was available to them at their pick, and will step in immediately as one of the faces of the team. Toppin was the best player in college basketball last season, and while he's 22 years old, ancient for a lottery pick, his unique, late-blooming trajectory has produced some optimism that he'll deliver on his promise. Toppin has defensive concerns that the Knicks will have to work around, but the presence of several bigs on the roster should not be viewed as a serious issue, as RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and now Toppin are their only essential pieces of the future. Toppin should be in the mix for Rookie of the Year if he hits the ground running. 7th pick. Detroit Pistons draft Killian Hayes. The chatter heard in league circles for the past few days pointed to Hayes as the Pistons' preferred target. Detroit has been seeking a long-term playmaker to build around, and determined Hayes was their guy. As it became apparent Patrick Williams would go higher. Hayes is a promising, crafty guard who has made tremendous progress over the past couple years, and his size for his position and knack for making good decisions endeared him to teams who scouted him carefully. He won't dominate with his athleticism, and may struggle in the NBA initially, but the Pistons are operating with an eye toward the future, and they'll land a player they feel will be a real piece for them as they build moving forward. 6th pick. Atlanta Hawks draft Onyeka Okongwu. The Hawks' selection of Okongwu is a commitment to shoring up their defense long-term behind Trae Young. Several teams attempted to trade up for him, but Atlanta's comfort drafting ultimately won out and made him the choice here. Per sources, Okongwu is dealing with a toe injury that could cause him to miss a small amount of time to start the season, but that was a non-issue for teams as far as the medical piece was concerned. Atlanta's recent trade for Clint Capella suggests Okongwu will come off the bench to start the season, or that Hawks may move on from Capella. But Okongwu was the most NBA-ready defender among the available bigs in this draft. and gives the Hawks a young piece at the position they needed most long-term. Keep yourself tuned in as we discover 5 more amazing facts with you all. Hope you guys are enjoying the video, and if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, do it now in order to make sure that you don't miss out on any future NBA content from now on. 5th pick. Cleveland Cavaliers draft Isaac Okoro. The Cavaliers' selection of Okoro comes off as something of a surprise to many around the NBA. Cleveland had thought to have interest in Okoro, but that talk had quieted in recent weeks, and as of the discussion shifted toward Obi Toppin and the Knicks' apparent pursuit of the Dayton big man via trade. Okoro is actually a nice fit with the Cavs core, which currently consists of 3 score-first guards and has a little defensive backbone, and should be able to log minutes for them on the wing next season. If his jump shot improves, his upside is substantial, but for a lot of teams, the if was a bit too much to take the leap. This pick makes sense for the Cavs now that they made it, but was not what many were expecting. 4th pick. Chicago Bulls draft Patrick Williams. Chicago's decision to take Williams will stand as one of the most fascinating evaluations in this draft, both in the short term and long term, and this is a major swing on the upside, but also a measured one. Williams was viewed by the teams as a potential lottery pick dating back to the spring, and as the entire NBA poured over game film and assessed the draft over the course of the year. The youngest college player in the draft, Williams quietly came into play as Chicago's likely choice of the past couple days. His physical traits, versatility, and budding skill potential would suggest he can evolve into the type of two-way forward every team in the league covets, capable of scoring inside and out, as well as switching into bigs and wings defensively. This is Arturas Karnisova's first selection at the helm in Chicago, and it should stand as a memorable one way or another. 3rd pick. Charlotte Hornets draft LaMelo Ball. After much discussion both in the public sphere and behind closed doors, Ball was the right pick for the Hornets, and the organization will focus its efforts on developing him into an all-star level centerpiece. Ball has a great size for his position, but more importantly, is a visionary player who excels on the open floor, and the type of connected talent Charlotte's roster has sorely lacked. If his jump shot comes along, he's going to be very difficult to stop, and if the Hornets can find the right pieces around him, Ball can be the engine driving the rebuild. There's a risk here, but Ball is a terrific value at number 3, and a player the Hornets and their fanbase should be able to get excited about. One thing's for certain, no matter what he does as a rookie, the spotlight will follow. 2nd pick. Golden State Warriors draft James Wiseman. No surprises here. Wiseman was widely expected to be the Golden State's choice at number 2, and it would appear the Warriors intend to keep the pick. Wiseman is the most physically gifted pick in the draft, with a huge wingspan and above-average mobility, and he should slide into the Warriors' rotation and enter an optimal situation for his development. Playing alongside Golden State's veterans should lead to easy buckets and help maximize Wiseman early in his career, as he works to develop his jump shot and expand his skill set to become a more versatile scorer. The worst news of the day was that Klay Thompson that he was dealing with a potentially serious leg injury, and it's unclear if that impacted Golden State's decision to stand pat. But the Warriors made this pick to position themselves for the present and future, and Wiseman could eventually be their centerpiece if he reaches the ceiling as Steph Curry, Thompson, and Draymond Green enter their 30s. 1st pick. Minnesota Timberwolves draft Anthony Edwards. In the end, the Timberwolves made the pick most around the NBA expected they would, going with Edwards as their choice. Minnesota mulled this decision from every angle, calling teams until the last possible second in an attempt to maximize the value of the pick. But Edwards was ultimately the strongest fit, as well as who they felt was the best prospect. And the Wolves will have to invest fully in his growth, but Edwards is the draft's most gifted scorer, arguably its most impressive athlete, and comes with a real upside. Minnesota will hope he evolves into the 3rd star they've been seeking to play with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. These 10 draft picks have definitely got some amazing specifics to look for in the future. Let us know in the comments, who is your favorite pick among them all? Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thumbs up if you liked it. And do hit the subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any interesting videos from now on.